The story begins with Orn, an adventurer who serves as a support mage in a famous party. For years, he has helped his teammates using support magic that boosts their attack power, defense, and overall combat abilities. Although his role may seem simple, Orn's job is actually extremely demanding. His support spells only last for 3 minutes, forcing him to constantly keep track of time during battles and repeatedly recast his magic without pause. Thanks to his efforts, the party was able to conquer numerous dangerous floors of the labyrinth. However, one day, the party leader, Oliver, decides that Orn is no longer useful in his eyes. Orn's abilities are too weak compared to the rest of the team. He even calls Orn a burden that is holding the party back. Orn is shocked to hear those words. For 8 years, they had fought side by side as childhood friends and trusted companions. He tries to explain that much of the party's success was made possible by his support magic, but Oliver and the others have already made up their minds. In the end, they expel Orn from the party. Though heartbroken and disappointed, there is little he can do. He is forced to accept the reality that there is no longer a place for him in the group that had been such a major part of his life for so many years. After leaving the party, Orn wanders alone, wondering what the future holds for him. During his travels, he hears rumors about a young girl who was abandoned by her adventuring group after being attacked by monsters. Without hesitation, Orn rushes to the scene. There, he finds a girl named Sophia surrounded by monsters, despite being known as a support mage. Orn possesses surprisingly powerful combat skills. He casts multiple enhancement spells on himself, draws his sword, and takes on the monsters alone. Sophia is stunned by Orn's unique fighting style. She has never seen a support mage capable of fighting with such overwhelming strength. Within a short time, every monster is defeated. Thanks to Orn's intervention, Sophia is saved. As a way of thanking him, Sophia invites Orn to dinner. During their conversation, Orn learns that Sophia belongs to Silver Knight, one of the largest and most influential treasure hunting clans in the kingdom. Not long afterward, he meets Sophia's older sister, Selma Claudel. Orn is surprised to discover that Selma is a renowned adventurer who leads a high-ranking party. Unlike Oliver and his former teammates, Selma fully understands the importance of a support mage. She openly acknowledges that many successful labyrinth expeditions depend heavily on support abilities that are often overlooked by others. When she hears that Orn was kicked out of his former party, Selma finds it unbelievable that someone with his talents would be discarded so easily. Selma soon presents Orn with an opportunity. The Silver Knight clan is preparing for a major expedition into the Southern Labyrinth. Their goal is to guide a group of rookie adventurers deep into the labyrinth in a short period of time as part of a large sponsor-backed project. To accomplish this, they need an experienced guide and mentor. Selma believes Orn is the perfect candidate. At first, Orn hesitates. He has only recently lost his place in his old party and is still struggling to move forward. However, Sophia and Selma continue encouraging him, insisting that his abilities are far more valuable than he realizes. They see something in him that his former teammates never did. That night, Orn returns to the item shop owned by an elderly man he has known for years. He explains everything that has happened and asks the old shopkeeper for advice. The old man immediately recognizes just how much Orn contributed to the success of his former party. In his opinion, many people fail to understand the true value of a support mage because their contributions are not as visible as those of frontline fighters. He is one of the few people who can clearly see Orn's hidden potential. Those words deeply move Orn. For the first time since being expelled, he feels that someone genuinely appreciates him. Orn finally realizes that his life does not have to revolve around his former party. He can forge his own path and use his abilities to help people who truly need him. With renewed determination, Orn accepts Silver Knight's offer and sets out on a new adventure, one that may change his life forever. Tor named Arendra and several guild members welcomed him with great respect, having long heard of his reputation. Although Orn was known as nothing more than a support mage, many people were curious why the legendary hero party had grown significantly weaker after his departure. During the preparation meeting, Selma explained the plan for a 3-day expedition aimed at reaching the 51st floor of the Great Labyrinth. 10 teams of rookie adventurers would participate as part of a special training program. Each group would be guided by experienced adventurers, so the newcomers could gain combat experience and develop their skills much faster. When the discussion turned to Orn's abilities, Arendra revealed why he was held in such high regard. While his support magic appeared ordinary at first glance, Orn's casting speed was far beyond that of other mages. He could analyze the flow of battle, predict dangers before they happened, and provide exactly the right support at the perfect moment. His ability to combine multiple support techniques made him nearly impossible to replace. Many people began to realize that the hero party might have made a huge mistake by casting him out. The following day, all participants gathered for the expedition. There, Orn reunited with Sophia, a young mage who already knew him. Together with the other rookie adventurers, they received their uniforms and final instructions before entering the labyrinth. Many were amazed to meet Orn in person, even after leaving the hero party. His reputation remained enormous soon afterward. Orn was introduced to Team Number 10, the group he would personally mentor. The team consisted of Gunn Hayward as the leader, Caroline as a defensive fighter who relied on speed and evasion rather than heavy armor, and Sophia as an offensive mage, although they were still inexperienced. All three possessed remarkable potential. Before the expedition began, the participants were stunned by an announcement revealing that Orn had once reached the 94th floor of the Great Labyrinth alongside the hero party. It was an achievement that even many elite adventurers had never accomplished. Hearing this instantly boosted the confidence and motivation of the rookies who would be training under him. The exploration finally began. Throughout the journey, Orn carefully observed each member of his team. He quickly realized that Caroline had exceptional talent as an evasion-based tank, while Sophia possessed rare aptitude for installation-type magic, a difficult branch of magic that few mages could master under Orn's guidance. They improved rapidly and developed impressive teamwork. In a surprisingly short time, Team Number 10 defeated the Floor 20 boss and advanced to the 21st floor. Their progress was so remarkable that many adventurers admitted the team was performing far beyond expectations. However, amid their success, a newspaper article began circulating throughout the kingdom. The article revealed that Orn had actually been expelled from the hero party. The news shocked many people, especially the rookie adventurers who had always viewed him as one of the kingdom's legendary heroes. Not long afterward, Orn encountered Luna, one of his former hero party companions who had always treated him kindly. Saddened by what had happened, Luna asked Orn to return to the hero party. She even offered to persuade the other members to accept him back, but Orn refused. He remembered the day he had been abandoned and how all the bonds he once treasured had been shattered. Luna reminded him of the promise they had made long ago to conquer the labyrinth together and reach its deepest floor. Yet Orn felt that it was already too late. The hero party he once loved was no longer a place he could call home. With firm determination, Orn chose to move forward alongside his new companions, rather than returning to the past. He dedicated himself to helping the next generation of adventurers grow stronger and proving to everyone that the value of a true support mage was far greater than anyone had ever imagined. The morning after the controversial article about him was published, Orn woke up with mixed emotions. The article revealed that he had actually been expelled from the hero party because he was considered too weak and lacking in ability. Although Orn had long suspected that such a day would eventually come, he was still shaken when the truth was exposed to the entire city. What worried him most was not his own reputation, but how the rookie adventurers he was mentoring would see him. Until now, they had viewed him as a legendary explorer who had reached the 94th floor of the Great Labyrinth. Now, they might think that all of his accomplishments were nothing more than a lie. Fortunately, those worries did not last long. When Orn reunited with Team Number 10, the members greeted him as warmly as ever. Sophia, Caroline, Logan, and the others told him that they had witnessed his abilities firsthand during the expedition. To them, a newspaper article changed nothing. The fact that Orn had reached the 94th floor was already enough proof of his skill. Hearing their trust and confidence, Orn felt relieved in his heart. He made a promise to protect them until the mission was over, with renewed determination. The group continued their journey from floor 21 toward floor 35. As always, Orn led from the rear, providing instructions and support magic. His ability to analyze situations allowed the entire team to move with incredible efficiency. Caroline took the front line as an evasion-based tank, while Sophia attacked from the back with powerful magic. During their journey, they encountered a dangerous monster known as a tarantula, a giant venomous spider far stronger than anything rookie adventurers would normally face. Several team members panicked the moment they saw its enormous size. Orn, however, remained calm. He immediately analyzed the monster's movement patterns and began issuing commands one by one. Caroline was instructed to draw the monster's attention while avoiding its poison attacks. Logan was ordered to protect Sophia. At the same time, Orn continuously cast support spells to enhance his teammates' strength. weapon sharpness, and overall combat abilities. But that wasn't all. Orn also used a rare debuff spell capable of reducing an enemy's agility and mobility. Such magic was notoriously difficult to use effectively, even for veteran adventurers, thanks to his perfect timing. The Destarantula's movements gradually slowed. Once the monster was trapped within their strategy, Orn signaled Sophia to unleash her finishing attack. Sophia fired a powerful stone arrow at the exact moment Caroline severed the creature's web trap. The combined assault struck perfectly and finally brought down the Destarantula. The victory left the entire team even more impressed with Orn. They began to realize that his true strength was not merely his support magic, but his ability to read the entire battlefield and coordinate every member of the team at precisely the right moment. That evening, after returning to the city, the group gathered for dinner in the relaxed atmosphere. Sophia and the others became curious about Orn's past. They wanted to know how someone with his abilities could possibly have been expelled from the hero party. Through the conversation, they learned that Orn had not originally been a support mage. As a child, he dreamed of becoming a swordsman like his grandfather, a legendary warrior who once saved their village from monsters with a single swing of his sword. Inspired by that dream, Orn initially joined the hero party as a frontline fighter. However, as the party ventured deeper into the labyrinth, the difficulty increased dramatically. To help the team progress more efficiently, Orn gradually took on a support role because he possessed the rare ability to use nearly every type of magic. The decision proved incredibly effective and played a major role in helping the hero party reach the 94th floor. Even so, deep down, Orn still carried a lingering regret. He felt that he had abandoned his dream of becoming a swordsman in order to support his teammates. Even after achieving extraordinary accomplishments, he still believed he wasn't strong enough to protect everyone. Sophia and the others fell silent after hearing his story. At that moment, they finally understood that Orn was not just a talented adventurer. He was someone who had always sacrificed his own dreams and ambitions for the sake of his companion's success. As dinner came to an end, the mood turned slightly bittersweet. Their expedition had only one day remaining. Sophia realized that once the mission was over, she would probably no longer be able to spend as much time with Orn as she did now because of that. She secretly began considering the idea of inviting Orn to join their group permanently, though too embarrassed to say it out loud. She hoped that the adventurer who had taught her so much would remain by her side even after their journey ended. Meanwhile, Orn had no idea that his presence had already become incredibly important to the young adventurers he was guiding. That morning, Sophia and the rest of the team encouraged Orn before continuing their expedition through the Great Labyrinth. At the same time, the hero party was on the verge of a major achievement, having already reached the deepest layers of the labyrinth. They were preparing an expedition to floors 90 through 94 in order to investigate newly discovered territory that had never been fully explored. However, the atmosphere changed when it became clear that Orn was no longer part of the group. Several new members were introduced, including a renowned support mage named Philly. Everyone believed that Philly was far superior to Orn and would serve as the perfect replacement. Oliver, the leader of the hero party, proudly announced that they had expelled Orn and replaced him with someone far more talented. Luna, however, was clearly uncomfortable with the decision. Time and again, she warned the others that Orn's contribution had been far greater than they realized. Unfortunately, her concerns were ignored. The hero party pressed ahead with their plan to conquer floor 92. As soon as the expedition began, problems started to surface. The frontline fighters felt their bodies becoming unusually heavy. Although Philly's support buffs appeared powerful on paper, the actual results in battle were completely different. Oliver, Derek, and Anneli found themselves unable to unleash their full strength. Their attacks became weaker, their movements slower, and the team's coordination gradually fell apart. Everyone was confused. They couldn't understand why their combat performance had dropped so dramatically when Philly was supposed to be a superior support mage compared to Orn. Then disaster struck. A black dragon that should have remained within the boss area suddenly appeared before them. The very same monster they had defeated in the past now stood in their path once again. At first, Oliver intended to fight, but reality quickly proved otherwise. With the team severely weakened, they had absolutely no chance of winning as the dragon launched its assault. The hero party was forced into retreat. They came dangerously close to being wiped out in their desperate situation. Oliver activated an emergency artifact known as the Care Gate, a magical item capable of opening a portal to another area. Thanks to the artifact, they barely managed to escape the black dragon and save their lives. After surviving the encounter, the party members finally finally began to realize something they had ignored for years. Philly then revealed a secret that none of them had ever understood in support magic theory. Buff strength and buff duration are two completely different factors. While Philly's buffs were stronger in terms of raw numerical power, their duration was extremely short. As a result, the team constantly lost their enhancements in the middle of combat. Orn, on the other hand, possessed an extraordinary talent that no one had ever truly appreciated. He had developed a unique support magic technique capable of combining and amplifying magical effects many times over. His buffs lasted far longer than ordinary support spells. In fact, several enhancement effects the hero party had relied on for years were actually techniques personally created by Orn. Even more shocking was the truth behind the secret power that had made Oliver and the others seem so overwhelmingly strong. That power had never been theirs alone. It was the result of Orn's support for years. They had mistakenly believed those abilities came from their own talent and hard work. Now, everything finally made sense. They realized that their success in conquering floor after floor of the Great Labyrinth was not solely due to the strength of the frontline fighters. The true reason for their victories was that Orn had been silently supporting the entire party from the shadows. Without him, the hero party's power had plummeted. Regret soon began to consume every member of the group. Luna, who had defended Orn from the very beginning, was finally proven right. The others came to understand that the person they had always considered weak was actually the foundation that held the entire party together. By the end of the ordeal, the hero party was forced to face a bitter truth. Their countless victories had never been achieved by their efforts alone. Without Orn, they could not even defeat an enemy they had already conquered in the past. And at that moment, they realized a painful reality. The hero party was never great simply because its members were strong. It was great because Orn had always been standing behind them, supporting them every step of the way. Only after driving him away did they finally understand the true value of the man they had spent years underestimating. After a series of events that shook the world of adventurers, Orn began the final day of his training expedition with the young members of the Rabbit Clan. Their goal this time was to conquer floor 36 before returning to the city. Afterward, they planned to continue their journey toward floor 50 and beyond. Although many people still viewed him as nothing more than an ordinary support mage, Orn had gradually earned the respect of his students. Logan, Caroline, Sophia, and the others constantly sought his advice on combat, teamwork, and survival within the Great Labyrinth. During their journey, Caroline, who was always eager to charge into the front lines, was once again reminded by Orn of an important lesson. He explained that a fighter could not rely solely on personal strength. Teamwork was far more important than individual ability. Caroline eventually began to understand that the role of a tank was not merely to absorb attacks, but also to protect allies by reading enemy movements and controlling the flow of battle. Along the way, the younger adventurers became curious about Orn's past and the hero party. They had heard rumors about the battle against the Black Dragon on floor 92 and how the hero party had nearly collapsed after expelling Orn. To them, Orn was a true hero who always protected his companions without thinking of himself. Meanwhile, in Guild City, the situation was becoming increasingly dire. After the sudden appearance of the Black Dragon, which had somehow left its boss area on floor 92, the entire guild was placed on high alert. No one knew where the dragon had gone, and if the monster were to appear in a human settlement, thousands of lives could be at risk. Oliver and the hero party were given the enormous responsibility of hunting down the Black Dragon once again. However, they had yet to recover from their previous defeat. More than ever, they were beginning to realize that without Orn, they were no longer the powerful party they once believed themselves to be. On the other hand, Orn continued training his students with patience and dedication. He taught Logan various support magic techniques, including how to use debuffs to weaken enemies and how to set magical traps capable of controlling an opponent's movements. Logan was astonished, having never realized just how versatile a support specialist could be. Sophia also received special instruction. Orn taught her an advanced technique known as the ability to create multiple magic circles simultaneously, according to Orn. This skill was essential for any mage hoping to survive in the deepest layers of the labyrinth, where enemies were far too powerful to be defeated with a single ordinary spell. At first, Sophia believed the technique was impossible to master. However, after listening to Orn's explanations, she gradually began to understand its fundamentals. Even Selma, who witnessed the training session, became fascinated and asked Orn to teach her as well. The days of training soon paid off. The students began showing remarkable improvement. Logan became far more proficient in active defensive techniques, while Sophia dramatically increased the power and efficiency of her magic. When the group eventually encountered powerful monsters on the deeper floors, the results of their training became immediately apparent. Under Orn's guidance, every member worked together flawlessly. Their attacks were perfectly coordinated. Their defenses remained solid, and not a single movement was wasted. The students grew even more impressed by Orn's abilities. They realized that the man, once mocked as a useless support specialist, was actually an extraordinary mentor capable of transforming ordinary adventurers into a powerful and cohesive team. But at the same time, an even greater threat was drawing closer. Back in Guild City, the hero party was preparing to begin its expedition to hunt the Black Dragon. Luna bluntly stated that without Orn, they were the weakest S-rank party imaginable. No matter how hard they tried to deny it, they could no longer ignore the truth that much of their success had depended on Orn's abilities. After 3 exhausting days of exploration deep within the labyrinth, Orn and his expedition team finally completed their mission. They believed everything had ended safely. But the situation changed dramatically when an incredibly powerful black dragon suddenly appeared before them. The appearance of the legendary monster immediately threw the entire group into panic. The rookie adventurers participating in the expedition had no chance of fighting a creature of such overwhelming strength. The situation became even worse because the black dragon had a habit of targeting large groups, meaning the more people gathered together, the greater the danger they faced. Orn quickly realized the harsh reality of the situation. If everyone tried to escape together, it was likely that no one would survive. Faced with that grim possibility, he made a courageous decision. Even though he knew his chances of victory were slim, he chose to face the Black Dragon alone in order to buy time for his companions and the rookie adventurers to escape. As everyone stood shocked by his decision, Orn firmly declared that the duty of an explorer was not merely to survive, but also to protect others. He vowed to keep everyone safe until the very end. His companions immediately began organizing a defensive formation to escort the rookies away from the battlefield. A fierce battle soon erupted. Orn unleashed a variety of support spells that he had personally developed. Unlike ordinary support magic, he could stack enhancement effects multiple times over. His boosts increased from double to triple, and eventually to dozens of times their normal strength. This extraordinary ability pushed his body far beyond the limits of an ordinary human. That was not all. Orn also revealed a unique ability known as convergence, a special power that allowed him to gather and compress magical energy into various offensive and defensive forms. Using this technique, he created reflective barriers capable of deflecting enemy attacks and unleashing devastating magical explosions. Despite using every ounce of his power, the Black Dragon remained a terrifying opponent. Attack after attack rained down upon Orn. Yet in the midst of the battle, memories of his past resurfaced. He remembered the days when he was weak and powerless, when he had lost precious things he could never recover. Back then, he had sworn to become stronger, so that he would never again fail to protect the people who mattered to him. Those memories became a new source of strength. Orn's determination burned brighter than ever. He realized that his lifelong pursuit of power and knowledge had always been driven by a desire to stand against the unfairness of the world. Now, all of those years of effort were being put to the ultimate test against the Black Dragon. As his mastery of convergence continued to evolve, Orn gradually began to turn the tide of battle. He unleashed countless powerful spells simultaneously, a feat that even elite mages would struggle to accomplish. The Black Dragon, which had initially dominated the fight, slowly found itself being pushed back. However, the monster had not yet revealed its full strength. The battle entered an even more dangerous phase as both sides began using their trump cards. Orn was forced to sacrifice part of his own energy to push his magical power to its absolute limit. As his buffs and enhancement effects gradually began to fade, Orn decided to risk everything on a single final attack. Gathering an enormous amount of magical energy, he forged a gigantic black energy sword filled with overwhelming destructive power. With all of his determination, experience, and strength, Orn unleashed the decisive strike. The resulting collision shook the entire labyrinth. After a grueling battle that pushed him to the brink of death, the Black Dragon was finally defeated. Everyone who witnessed the battle could hardly believe what they had seen. A man who had once been dismissed as nothing more than a support mage had defeated a national-class monster feared even by the strongest adventurers. Although his body was nearly broken and he had exhausted every last bit of his strength, Orn had fulfilled his promise. He protected everyone. He won a battle that seemed impossible to win, and with that victory, his name began to spread throughout the world as one of the greatest explorers and adventurers to have ever lived.